So we're going to Portugal in exactly 100 days. I figured what I would do is start making a diary every single week of how well my language learning journey is going. I've been learning for about a year now. I've got 100 days left until we're out there. So I figured I'd really ramp it up. I'd see every week I'd post like how I'm doing, things I did, things I'd like to, continue to do better on or get better with. And kind of like that. So, all right, so I'm going to hit some points here, and then I'll put it on the side of the screen somewhere with everything. And so I'll just have these like data points that I can go through every week and kind of check out and see maybe how good I can get before we go there for a month. And then when we're there, we'll see how good we get after being there for a month, because that'll be kind of cool too. So I currently know probably like 500 or 750 words, something like that. I don't really count each individual conjugation as a word because I don't know, it doesn't feel like a different word for me. Like I said, he said, we said, dice, diceste, dicemos. Like I get that technically those are three different spellings of a word, but it's like the same word. It's still said. So I kind of count that as one word. So I might not even know 500 words. I'm going to say like 500 words to start with right now. And we'll just keep counting things on Anki Deck, and maybe I'll just take a day and write everything down sometime. I don't know. So this week I did read like 3 hours, and then I spoke with my tutor for an hour, so that's good. I have a tutor every week. I do 1 or 2 days a week depending on his availability and how much I want to ramp up. The closer I get, I'll probably ramp it up a little bit more just so I can have more speaking and listening practice. But then I read Harry Potter. I've got my Harry Potter book that I got at Livraria Lelo, and it's been cool reading through that. I'm not using a translator on my phone or anything, just because I want to just kind of read the story and not have to like try and understand every word. So for grammar this week, I studied some reflexive verbs that needed prepositions to connect them to the sentence, and then if there's an article, you had to contract the preposition and the article. And so we kind of went over stuff like that, and I don't feel like I know that well. Like I don't know all the words that need it. I can kind of explain how it's done in context of sentences that I've learned, but I feel like I couldn't teach anyone how it's done or why it's done. So I feel like it's a very shallow level where I'm at here if I'm thinking about like my depth of knowledge. Something I need to continue studying, but I kind of just started getting into that. So we'll see, maybe I can get ChatGPT to help me figure out like exactly when I would use a preposition to connect the reflexive verb or when I wouldn't need to. Also, por is like weird because sometimes you use it and sometimes you don't contract. Like sometimes it's just like por, whatever, or pelo or pela, but it kind of depends on how specific the next part of the sentence is, I guess. I don't know. So I definitely got to get into that some more. So for topics this week, I spoke with my tutor. We spoke about politics for a little bit. I don't know that many words in the political space, you could say the right way. But we spoke about that a bit, and then we also spoke about driving in the US versus Portugal and the difference of the driving test and like how you do things that way. Next week we're gonna probably do like signs, because I told him that I'd probably drive around Portugal a little bit and it would be nice to know the laws and what the signs mean. He was like, all right, cool, we can do that. We also spoke about the weather here. I told him it was hot as balls, so that was easy to talk about because that's pretty basic. On Hello Talk, I spoke with a couple people pretty consistently. I kind of have some people I speak with often, and I spoke about the FIFA World Cup because that's interesting, and there was Porto and Benfica that was in it. Spoke about São João, which is some kind of like religious holiday that isn't really super religious anymore, but that's how all holidays started. But I guess that was in Porto over the weekend or something, and that was really cool to see all the lanterns going up and all the fireworks and stuff. And then I did ask someone about summer break because they're a teacher, and so we were kind of comparing the differences between Portugal and how they do summer break and how we do it here in the US. So, all these topics we were kind of hitting. I feel generally like I'm all right. Like I can talk about summer break. I can ask questions about São João I can talk about soccer and stuff, but like politics is something I could work on potentially. But all in all, I felt okay talking about these things. Things that I read today or this week: Harry Potter and Mickey 7. I've got Harry Potter, the actual book, like I was talking about. Mickey 7's on my phone on Google Books, Google Play Books, I think it's called. So I'm reading through that, and yeah, it's actually been kind of a cool book, and then I'll probably watch the movie on the plane or something. I don't know. Study methods that I've been using. So I use ChatGPT to give me a lesson, either every day or every other day, and it'll give me 15 words that I can throw into an Anki deck, 5 verbs. It'll then give me a grammar section that we can study, and then it'll give me a writing prompt. So I kind of do all of this. I try to do it every day, but like I said, every other day sometimes. But it's really helped me broaden my word base, so I'll have it give me 15 words, but they have to be related to a specific topic, and then I'll throw all those words into a Word doc, and then I upload the Word doc next time I do it and say, like, make sure it's not any word that's in this Word doc. So it'll give me words that are similar or around the same topic. So when I'm learning, my head's kind of in the same space, but I'm not learning words that I've learned before. So it's not like repeating the same thing. And it kind of just keeps going. I'll talk about houses, or I'll talk about road stuff, or I'll talk about museums, or this or that or that. So it has helped me. I've definitely read some things or heard some people talk about some things where I'm like, oh, I know what that is, because it was in my Anki deck that ChatGPT gave me, and that's really kind of helped me broaden my word base, is what I'm calling it. Besides that, yeah, reading and talking every week as much as I can. I can always do more, obviously, but yeah, it's nice to be talking with the tutor again, that's for sure. So next week, there are a couple things I want to try. I do have a list of words that I've got written down in my phone, and they're words that either I came across and want to study, or that I said in English and I thought, this would be good to know in Portuguese. Actually, let me just write this down. I've got a pretty big list, and I should probably start getting on that. It won't be exactly like the other one where it's all in the same topic, because they're all just random, but they're things that at some point in time I thought, okay, I should learn this. So they won't be super unfamiliar, so maybe that'll help me learn them a bit better. But I do want to get through that list. I also wanted to try to use ChatGPT to pull out a whole bunch of words from a transcript of a show. So I got the subtitles of Taskmaster in Portuguese, and I was able to, it gives you the timestamp, and you can put that into ChatGPT and say, hey, give me like all the words in the first 5 minutes of the show, and it could give you a big word, and then you can throw those in an Anki deck or something like that. So I think it'd be interesting to try to get all the words beforehand, study them, and then watch and see if I've how much I'd be able to understand. You could do the same thing with a book. Get like 2 pages of a book or a chapter, throw it in an Anki deck, study a whole bunch of the words in there, and it'll make it easier to read that chapter, I guess. So things I'd like to try. And so that's it for this week. I'm going to post something again next week. I'll let you know how those things worked out. We'll see how many words I learned this past week, how much I spoke, and talked with people. Anyway, I just want to keep it short. Just one little thing for me. If you actually saw this, you could like follow along. You don't have to though. I'm just trying to have a hobby here. So yeah,